Hi, and welcome to another episode of Brewing 3D. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the brand new fluid control system from Brewtools. The thing that you see on the wall here, which consists of typically three visible parts here on the wall. It's an I/O module, relay module, and the brain, the screen behind it. Then there is a bunch of sensors and everything like that put on the tank. So it's a pressure sensor, spunding valve for CO2 out, and then another valve for CO2 in. There's also a temperature sensor, and I also have a heating element here on the other side. What will come more? There will be coming an agitator that can circulate or agitate the wort on demand. There will also be a fluid level sensor, as well as a density sensor, a fork tuning sensor to measure the wort density. So I hope that will be much better than my current solution with a tilt hygrometer. But let's get into the details about how I installed this and a small overview at the end as well. So all the parts available for the FCS system, the fluid control system from Brewtools, is currently what you see here on the floor. Apart from to the left there you see a UPS that I will also add to this system to make sure we don't get any power outages or anything like that. I will go through the parts a little bit more in detail, and if we start with this one, that's the 5-inch screen, which is typically the brain of the system. And for this one I designed a small wall holder rather than the balls and the clamps that you can get from Brewtools. And the reason why I designed it was really that I couldn't get hold of them easily at the time, so I opted for designing one instead. Then next to the right is the FCS I/O module, which has all the ins and outs to all the different sensors and everything like that. There is also a bunch of different 6-pin, 7-pin, 5-pin, 2-pin cables to the system, along with a 24 volt 2 amp power supply that will be connected to the I/O module, and then the I/O module will power typically the rest of the parts. I will tell otherwise when it comes to that. This is also a small 3D printed plastic piece. I will install this with all the cables hidden actually in a double wall. I really hate cables, so that's why I will do it like that. I think you saw it in the intro as well. Here is the relay module, which is used to control the 500 watt 2-inch heater for the tank, and the associated cables to that. Coming down here, see a temperature sensor, the one up here, and down here is the solenoid for the CO2 in, to let in CO2 into the tank. Going up a little bit is another solenoid or another valve to release the pressure from the tank. Also included in that is the pressure sensor. So it's neatly packed into one unit, which I really like. To the left of that is the airlock glass used to this one. I know that there will be some splashing when it releases the pressure, so I designed a small extra lid to go on top to reduce that. Let's see how that works a little bit later on. Some more 3D printed parts. This is typically an outlet that will be like this on the side of the wall where the cables will come out. As I said, this is a double wall, so all the cables will be hidden behind there. Going up to the top left, I will use the Brewtools miniature pump in a Quantor Mini Chili 03, so a small Quantor chiller. So instead of the pump I currently have, I will use this one. And that pump will connect directly to the I/O module and take the power straight from that. So that is really good. Then to the left here, as I said, I opted to also purchase a separate UPS that will permanently be connected to the system, and it should, in theory, keep the system up and running for at least an hour. So then it will take care of most of all the power issues that I have, at least here. And what you see there are 3 different brackets, because I will mount this one quite high up in the back of my brewery, so it's out of any splash zones or anything like that. And there's just an extension cord for that one. So I think what you see here is currently all the parts available for the FCS system. There will be more coming, like the agitator and the level control to check the level in the tank, as well as the tuning fork to measure the density of the wort. So I'm eagerly awaiting all of that, but let's get on and see if we can try to get this one mounted without so much visible cables. But yeah, let's see. Replace the pump with the Brewtools one and add a zip tie and just put it back in the Quantor chiller. Taking some measurements on the wall to make the holes, because I really want the cables to be, let's say, hidden behind the wall. So I had to move the tank out of the way, of course. Taking some measurements where the cable should exit from the wall so that they're in the right height for the tank. So some more templates and drilling and so forth. Also making the holes on the top for the cables from the I/O module and from the relay module to go, let's say, behind the wall down to the outlet in the bottom. Yeah, it's a little bit what it looks like halfway through. Next up is mounting the UPS. So I 3D printed a couple of brackets for that. Had to mount it on the wall where to put in the plugs and everything like that. A little bit tight in the area, but it still works. Putting the plugs in and attaching the brackets. 2 brackets. This one is a front bracket and then a rear bracket, and I had to make a small cutout in this one to allow for the pipe to go through it. There you see the UPS in the final position. Then I'm printing some brackets to put straight onto the unit tank to keep the cables in place when where they come out from the wall. So there I attached the small plastic pieces where the cable, let's say where I attached the cable to it. Mount it to the holes that are already in, let's say, the legs for the F80. And you see I opted to place all the currently available sensors on one side of the tank, so it's easy to route the cables. Then I route the cables one by one. Then attach a zip tie in the end to keep the cables together, and then they, let's say, this bracket will hold them neatly just behind the tank without anything hanging out or something like that. So this is a little bit what it looks like when everything is attached. It's really nice on the wall where you don't see any cables. Everything goes behind the wall, so to say. And up there is the UPS. As I said, really tight, but still works. So putting on the power and see if everything starts up for the first time. And then also the removal of the screen protector, always nice to do that. Great, there we have it. And in the manual control now you see that the AC power is almost 500 watts. That's because the heating element is on. Now I lower the temperature to 2 degrees, and then you see that the AC power goes down and the DC goes up, and that's because the The Brewtools pump in the chiller has now kicked in. This is just a page for different of the quick settings that you can do. Then going back to target temp of 20 degrees. See, the AC power goes up again. Then you can stop the process and abort to the main screen. Then you will have 10 new pages coming up where you can set languages and stuff like that. You can also set the units and the, let's say, that you use, if you use bar or PSI or whatever, tank name. If you have an external relay control, you put that here. Also assign where the relays, which relay ports, and the pressure sensor ports for the different CAN ports. Here's also a new calibration page with the latest update. And then also the update and the cloud. So far you just have the menus for the cloud, but there is no, let's say, doesn't happen anything when you try to activate it. Here I attach the incoming CO2 to the CO2 solenoid in to the tank. And of course had to add some pressure on the regulator as well. Yeah, so now it's filling up the tank to the set pressure. Setting a slightly lower pressure to see the spunding in the valve. And here you can see I also put a lid on this one just to prevent any oversplash, because I know that that is very common. And this small 3D printed plastic part really did the trick. Thanks a lot for watching this far. And as always, if you have any questions, or if you would like to take part of the 3D models you might have seen that could be interesting to you, just shoot me a mail at brewing3d@yahoo.com. I would be more than happy to send you the CAD files or the step files so you can make adjustments yourself, or just print them straight, or just put them straight in a slicer and print them. So, by that, until next time, take care. Bye bye.